There you go.
So how's this now?
Yeah, here I can see you. Yes.
Okay, so what happened here, I had earlier the camera on for a test, and probably that's why the camera was not um, doing something connecting. But anyway, I'm showing here as Yoko. I gotta change my sign in.
Yeah. Are you ready for a really cold weather that's coming to us?
I'm okay with anything. Yeah, I'm trying to log out myself here with you. I may have to go out one more time, yeah.
maybe I, maybe I can
Because
just
I'm showing us, oh, now it's toward me. Okay. Did you do this or did I do that?
I yeah I just change it to Thor. Like I change it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so then we have Yoko joining in soon just for recording purpose. So she wants to record it and then later watch it. Yoko is currently in Japan.
Oh, oh, she can travel back home. She's okay to do that.
We will see. We will see. The
Oh,
plan was she's coming back on the 24th, 25th, but now she's extending for one more week and then maybe January 2nd. So we will see if that's all happen or if there is any problems with that. We'll see.
so you're by yourself with your daughter, of course, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I have to hang on just one second. Yeah, so our daughter, I mean, she's independent enough that she can take care of herself, but of course, I have to drive her to the swim session and so on and so on. So, back to the, oh, there you go, Yoko Schroeder signing in now. Back to the meeting. I had one question received earlier today. Somebody asking about the security to the investor. So maybe if you can cover this in the meeting as well. Perhaps
There's no problem.
when we go into, actually, you know what, let's try this. How do I enter now? Yeah, security to the investor, the investment itself, if it's backed up by a mortgage, etc., by just private funding, how the investor has eventually certain shares perhaps in the property. So anyway, that was one question. So now I'm just trying to see if I can slideshow. Is what do you see now?
I still see you.
You see me, okay? Because
Mhm.
I see now the slideshow in front of me because I just moved it over to my screen, but that's not what I'm trying to accomplish here.
Do you questions for you, Thor? Do you want to control the slide and you control you become the host and share the slides, and then do it that way, or you prefer me to have
Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe I'm just clicking on slide 1, 2, 3, 4, depend how you talk, because I can read the slides and you can, unless you need it, maybe it's easier for you to talk while you have the slide in front of you, and then you just switch it as you need to switch. That's maybe easier, better for you. And I'm just looking at the incoming chats, if there's chats coming in.
okay, and of
So
course
we can do
that's
that. Yeah. So why don't you do the slides and I'm just controlling the chats, the questions, and if there are questions, you can talk, I can talk, everybody's muted. So once you finish one slide, give it maybe a 2-second breather that I can maybe cut in if needed. I say, hey, Howard, I just received a question regarding this, and this.
Yeah,
And
and actually, let's do that. And for any time during in the middle of slide, beginner slide, end of slide, doesn't matter. If you feel like that's for the flow of the meeting, you have to cut it in because you know your group best, and that's where the credibility comes. Honestly, I'm here to do the presentations, introduce the projects, the company, but it's really the leverage is with your group is through you, because they don't know me, like they know you. So but I'm saying is like you got to jump in anytime, jump in
yeah.
anytime.
So the only thing I don't know yet, how many people will log in eventually, because again, I have only received one question today from one person, and I hope those people are in Vancouver and not skiing or whatsoever. You never know, right? Night skiing is open till 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock at least.
It really doesn't matter, to be honest. If we do a practice one between yourself, and we do a practice one between yourself, and that's what we do. And of course, the more people is better. But I think it's good for us. And hey, hopefully we have a lot of people. If not, hey, that's no big deal.
Yeah, it would be just nice if there's a good turnout, because then it's.
How many did you send? How many did?
I send it out probably, I would suggest maybe to 30
Okay.
or 25, 30. I have to count the numbers there, 25, 30 maybe.
Well, that well it's you never know, like meeting like this, you just never know. As you said, like and the thing is it's an evening, sometimes it's better, sometimes harder. It's just it's you just can't predict, and it's really close to Christmas too, like some people may be already traveling, right? That's another thing.
Yeah, we'll see if people are traveling out of town already for Christmas, or if something else. We'll see, whatever the reason is. But again, the email went out, and so yeah, we'll see.
And I do have this on record, so
If
actually,
not, then we were gonna replay it eventually if there's somebody still interested later on. Yeah.
yeah, it's and then if you want, you can send the recording to the group as well, and then for the rest they cannot join, and sometimes they don't watch it, and but at least it's there, right? And that's good marketing.
Yeah. So on my side, playing with you or not playing with you with this one here, I'm a little bit in a pinch. I have well, Yoko has a payout of an insurance.
What do you mean your
So
side? Sorry, Thor.
yeah, what I'm saying is that I plan to maybe participate in this one too with the university apartments.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't know that.
I've put money aside, which was US dollars when I received it back, but I converted it in Canadians because I was planning to invest this with somebody in Langford outside Victoria. Deal is good. It's a 5-year deal. However, then that person said, if I'm looking at your profile, it looks like we cannot accept you as accredited investor because you have not enough liquid funds. You have everything invested and then just in real estate. So you're a little bit overexposed just in one market, real estate, and you don't have enough liquid. So if you want to, let's say, invest with them $50,000, you need at least 250 cash, somewhere sitting. And
Okay.
then you invest
Interesting.
the $50,000, then you can do the rest 200, whatever you want to do with it. But in order to be considered liquid, or you have to have a minimum income per year. I believe it was 200,000 income per year, and then you would qualify for that too. So anyway, I said, okay, if that's what it is, maybe then I cannot play. So that's why I considered maybe then to put some funds into the university apartments. But then he called me back today, this guy, the exempt market dealer,
Yes.
and said, "Oh, I made it happen. We all want you in. I made it happen. The underwriter, I convinced the underwriter, and so on, we want you in." I said, "Oh, okay, I had already now a different plan." So anyway, this way or that way, either if I play and participate with your university apartments, or if not, then maybe Yoko, when she gets her insurance paid out Christmas time now. But if she's playing, then she probably will not have $50,000. She has probably way less than that. She maybe 25 or so.
And just so you know, thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate that, Thor. So you do your thing with the EMD person. Of course, you make your decisions with that. But to answer questions, and 25,000 is okay if Yuko did come back with, because we're not actually closing on 31st, even though we want to place all the capital on the 31st of December.
Yeah.
We're closing on the, as I explained to you, on the 15th of January, so we have a little bit of leeway on that side, just so that you have the information for you what you were considering.
Yeah, okay, that sounds good. Thank you. So yeah, anyway, those are the two thinking processes on my side currently. I did not even know that she had her insurance going to be paid out at this time. She said, yeah, no, end of this year, I have to make that decision if I want to carry on. Or it would have, let's say, it would have automatically carried on if she would have not been there locally and signing a discontinuation of it. So, and since she is locally now in Japan, she thought, yeah, you know what, maybe I just discontinue, because it's just a capital building life insurance. So everything what you put in, you get it back. And maybe if you have a certain amount of years in there, you get maybe even a certain percentage. So, but however, Yoko is covered with my insurance quite well. So therefore, we probably do not need a second insurance.
Okay.
So that's why she considers maybe rather to have it paid out, whatever she put in, and then maybe reinvest at a better rate of return, right?
Either way, you can let me know later. That's no stress with that.
So yeah, I was just going to go on that one. So it looks like we have now 6:58. Do you see already people in a lineup there somewhere? Or?
Yes. So Yuko, I think Yuko is also you, right? Because we're recording, so it's only three of us now. There's no lineup.
Okay. So there should be one guy. I don't know if he is, because that's the guy who asked this morning a question, but he is.
And to be honest, many times I have meetings like this, and as you also know that I'm sure, it many times it is past that the clock time before.
Because with the one guy who asked the question, he is from Vancouver, but he's currently in Germany, and his time is 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my gosh!
So it might be that he may not even wake up. It's possible. But if we can get him on board, that's nice, because he is involved in real estate investments quite a bit. His brother, who's also in Vancouver, he is currently not able to play because all his investments are placed. And the brother, he has some larger investments. He has he does usually commercial real estate in Vancouver. So I asked him, hey, do you want to just take some money out and play? He said, no, I'm.
It's funny. I think I catch it a few times. Thor, you do like you use the word play.
Well, yeah, why not? I use the word play. Yeah, it's playtime, right? because whatever you do as investor and anything else, you should still have some fun with it. Yeah, it can be serious, right? Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, right?
Called Mass. Is it?
Mars, yes, yeah, Mars. That's the guy. He's in Germany now.
Okay, I will just emit him.
Okay, and then I will send him a message. Welcome Mars when he's on. Yeah, Kevin O'Leary said money is like soldiers. You send them out into war, and they should capture other soldiers and bring them back. You don't want to lose them. So that's his point of view. And for me, it's just playtime. Play, but of course, don't lose in your game, and have fun.
I love it how you put it. That's why I say, I think I heard you say a few times. I'm gonna make a comment. It's quite interesting. But yeah, it's if you can have fun, like why not? That's what it's obviously it's very serious on investing, but if you can have fun with what you do, that's the best.
So Mars is signing in, looks like, yeah.
It should be here. Am I too bright? The light?
No, you're good. You're nice, crisp and clear. Me, again, it's my laptop camera is not the highest quality camera, but I didn't even get another webcam just for that laptop. Usually I'm on a tablet, but on a tablet I wouldn't have had the PowerPoint beside me on my second screen, so that's why I choose the laptop.
You're just fine.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going? I can't see myself. Oh, wait, I'm just checking. It's my first time on my here. Okay, rec. All right. Wait. So can you hear me?
Loud
Absolutely.
and clear.
You're loud and clear.
Very good. Very good. I can see you too. And
you are all black mass. You're on a black screen.
how do I change that? Wait, let me see.
You got on the bottom a video camera?
Yeah, got it. Yeah, no.
There you go.
Hi.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, it's 4 o'clock here in Germany. So
Mars, I mentioned already to Howard that you are from Germany logging in, and Howard is in the process of learning German, but today we have to speak English.
no problem. No problem. Yeah, if you don't mind, I need still some sleep because I have to wake up again at 8:30. So yeah, I don't know how long the meeting is going to be. So
It should be max an hour. I received just a text message now from somebody who was going to log in, but he can't because he's not home yet. He's somewhere in between, stuck in traffic.
Okay.
So that's another person. And then I'm not sure if from the others emails I sent out if how many people will eventually log in or not. So it is, what time is now? It is, I think, just after 7 now, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe quick introduction here. Mars to Howard's kind of introduction here first. So I know Mars for quite some time now. For how many years now? At least 10 years, maybe now, Mars?
Yeah, at least, yeah. From I used to interview him.
So
Okay.
we had in Vancouver a TV show through the Omni TV channel.
Yeah.
For German, from Germans, in German. So, and that's how we got connected. And Mars is the TV cameraman, the TV producer, the TV everything for that German show. And he was looking for, of course, some German people who were providing some content informational content to German citizens in around Vancouver, or actually Canada, right? If they log in, right? So that's how we met each other. Yeah, about probably 10 years ago now, I would think.
Yeah. So Thorsten was telling me about some opportunities, and since we are friends, and I trust his words that there's something interesting, and so I thought I'm gonna listen in and see what it is, get an idea. I of course have my concerns, but very normal concerns, like as a Canadian investing something in the US and all that. Don't have much experience with that, and I thought maybe you can enlighten us in that area a little bit, and and then talk about the project, what it is, and how we could maybe get in or not, or whatever. Let's see.
So I suggest we maybe wait just one more minute, and then we should start, because of you, Mars, that you have enough time to maybe one more time hit the pillow there. If it's a small group as we are now, then I think we can all share the talk button and talk to each other. If we have, of course, like, for example, 10 people, also then sometimes difficult, then we rather would go with the chat function and put a text message in, and I would then just forward that question then to Howard when the text message coming in.
Yeah.
But if it's like a small group as we are now, then we are, by all means, we can just ask that question.
Yeah.
For
Go.
me, Mars, for me, Mars, how I met Howard, Howard in Canada. I don't know how much you have watched those TV property shows. There's one guy, he's very famous on TV doing those reno shows. It's Scott McGilvery. He does income properties, when he comes into houses and change the houses, how people eventually can rent them out and so on. So anyway, that property shows is a side gig for him. He is actually, with his partner, a very large real estate investor. And after real estate investment, they created a real estate investor group, a network of 4 like-minded people, and they provide education, seminars, etc. So their group is called Keyspire. And Keyspire, they are hosting real estate investment information seminars throughout Canada. And then they have a summit 2-3 times a year somewhere in Canada, where all those real estate investors who participate in their local weekend seminars can come in to their summit. And during the summits, they present real estate investment opportunities, like options with other investment providers. So, and Howard was one member of that Keyspire group, so was I for many years. And through that Keyspire network, Howard posted many times his background a little bit, and I guess access also then, of course, the network, the people who are in that group, and that's how I received many times emails from Howard. I checked him out over sometime the emails he provided, and Howard did just the last one recently in a fall season of 2021. I partnered up with Howard, and we have on a limited partnership with some couple other investors, a property similar to this one here. Actually, it's a rented property near Cincinnati in Dayton, Ohio, which is currently also under contract and will be managed for some years. And that's how this started with me, with Howard. And Howard has been in Vancouver, and we have met each other, talked about that project. And then after that, I started with him to invest. And now Howard contacted me and said, hey, you know what, I got another one on the go. So that's why I said, okay, let's see if there are a couple of people in Vancouver maybe interested who want to join in that one too. So that's how this started here today, with that Zoom meeting. There were supposed to be a couple other people joining in. Again, one message I just received, this guy is not home yet. So yeah, that's it. Time is up. Howard, why don't you maybe introduce yourself, your group, who you are, and then we go with that information, what you do, how you do it, and then perhaps as well we lead into your past experience or the recent last one, at least. I would say that would be good for us just to see how you have done things if you are successful, I believe, and then where we go from there.
Thank you so much, Thor. And, I'm apologize. I'm at my I'm trying to find a better background in my home here, and I'm at the basement of my study room. And thanks so much for taking the time. I know you wake up so early. I think the goal is to try and make it as short as so that you can go back to your sweet dream. But yeah, and I think for you basically summarize very good. We met at Keyspire, and we're in the same group. I'm in the same group to 2016, and you're in the same group. But really, I think you and I really get together and started knowing each other. I think it's about 1 year ago, and we keep in touch, and we eventually invest together on our last deal, which is a 69 unit in Dayton, Ohio. Um, and that's our second deal. And so we are a Calgary company, but I was trying to make some notes a little about myself. I'm trying to let people who doesn't know me, it's kind of know me a little bit. I started investing in real estate when I was 26 years old, so that was 2006. But I started investing in the U.S. in 2012, and now I only focus on investing in Ohio, and only focusing on investing in U.S. So when I say investing in apartment buildings in Ohio, in U.S. So just so you know, this is my full-time gig. I don't do it as a part-time basis. This is my my company, and I also only do it in Ohio. And I don't even though I started in Canada, I'm still in Canada. I'm in Calgary myself, but I don't do anything other than multifamily investment in Ohio.
And so Howard, why is that? Why would you rather go in the US and not in Alberta?
Oh, because I have a crystal ball. I know US would go up so much. No, I don't. I it's the number makes sense, so I print out, this is a package, right? And I think Thor, you have it. You can feel free to distribute it. This is like the whole package. It's not just the slide that we're going to go over for the highlight. But so I think when I look at the whole US, of course, it's very big market like Canada, except it is much bigger than Canada. So Ohio itself is 11.8 million people. So that's very, very, very huge. And Ohio itself also are very landlord friendly. And that's another thing I do like. When I was looking at US years ago, when I started in 2012, so I looking at different, so compare different places, like, they call it Sun Belt state, which is basically, they basically, it's kind of like a smile state, like states all across from California all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada, which is, and then Texas, and then you keep going up to Atlanta, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and then kind of basically the smile. They call it Sun Belt, because Ohio is actually in the Rust Belt, which is the Midwest. So I look at a lot of markets, including so Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Washington, Seattle, California. Believe it or not, I even look at California, even though it couldn't make sense with numbers. But long or short is, I didn't just kind of pick, this is Ohio, this is where I want. Like I traveled to the state that I talked about, and I did. I look at deal flow, creative relationship, and I kind of single out, this is where I want to be my base. This is where I want to build my company. And I did. So I started traveling back and forth to Ohio since 2016 actually. So where my first apartment building is in 2018, actually 2017 put on contract and closed in 2018. And but I basically look at it as where can I find properties where it will make the rent to price ratio make sense. And when I'm going to talk about that is, when of course we investors, everything has come back to the numbers. So long story short is, I think the niche that I'm going after is value add, and how can I minimize the risk of doing value add? Because honestly, when you talk about value add projects, there's always have risk. You are overhauling, let's just say that repositioning the properties in a large scale. So the better you can spread the risk and the properties, the better you can find more units per so-called millions that you can invest in. That's where you can spread the risk, because there's so many tenants paying. But to be honest with you, I didn't know when I started in 2012, I didn't know a lot of things, right? Like this is our third projects. We're going to be close to 150 units when we closing this one. But we're still learning every day. But I would say a lot of that is single in when you define this as your base, and Ohio is my base. And I'm not even talking about Ohio in general. I'm talking about Southwest Ohio, kind of like the links between Cincinnati to Dayton. And I'm not even touching Columbus. So that between a million to a million people in Dayton, and then between the link between the I-75 from Cincinnati and Dayton, that's where my market is. That's where I create and have built a relationship to find the deals. Hope I'm not going overboard to kind of answer the questions. But a lot of that has come down to finding the deals that you can. Because the truth is, everywhere you have deals, it's about whether you can find the deals from the people that need that from the people that you need to create a relationship to find the deals. I don't know if it makes sense.
So yeah, when I can just summarize this one, because I know from the previous investment, when you look at the US compared to Canada, the US has a different market factor because the US is just so much stronger in their economy, so much stronger in potential, the tenancy pool. Because of that, so many more people live in the US, and then of course the economy is driven so much stronger in the US. So when I think last time we looked at those numbers, that it just makes sense in the US versus in Canada to invest because of that reason. And there's lots of happening in the US currently going on. I wish we would have done this in 2007, 2008, when the US was down on the bottom with their real estate market, but it picked up after quite a bit, and now the US has seen some improvement in the economy again. Yeah, Howard, can you please just show also, Mas, who you are? It's not just you by yourself, but you have, I think, a couple of people who are pulling the strings usually in Hayterbrick in your company.
Of course, yes.
Can I ask something in between, Howard, please?
Mm.
This brochure which you showed, you got a PDF file which you can send me?
I can send it to
Send
you. I
us?
have it, Mas. I have it on my computer. I can send it over to you.
Super. And this meeting, just for me to re-listen to it, it's recorded. Can I get a copy of that? That would be great. I'm just thinking of, I don't have to make lots of notice here on my paper.
Of course, yes. I will,
Yeah?
after the meeting, I will actually send it to you, Thor, so that Thor can distribute it to you. Yeah.
Yeah, super. Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, sorry. So please go ahead, Howard.
Oh, no, not at all. Jump in anytime. There's no, it's really small group here, so you can speak really normal terms here, honestly. But yeah, so Thor, so kind of answer your question. So yeah, we have 3 partner teams. So me being the main guy, and also Mandy, also a partner, my partner, and she's also my life partner. She's being my wife. And then Raymond is my university engineering classmate. I know him for 22 years. We met at engineering school and in Calgary. And but since about 15 years ago, he moved to San Jose, and he's working as middle management from Apple, the phone maker Apple. And uh, but we also start, me and Raymond's also start uh, another business, um, was back in 2013, 14. So we have worked together long time, even though he moved down south. And but when you look at the team, so it's not only just me. And as I said, so answer your question, Laura. So I'm the main persons to find the deals, do a lot of visit, do a lot of capital raise, talking to investors, underwriting the deals. And Raymond is also very good at underwriting the deals, being at analytical side on on um, uh, on due diligence, because we have to look at how can we make money. And when we say we can make money, like in this case, 20% per year, and a board of 22% per year, and give a cash flow 7 and 8 during the holding terms. So we have to back up by how we doing it. A lot of that comes down to math. A lot of that comes down to how we can increase the rents. So, but yeah, so to answer the question. And then we have Gowling, which is our law firm. They are international and also national in Canada. They have office in Vancouver, Calgary, Toronto, big city. But they are the one who creating our uh, LP structure, limited partnership structures for us. We have used the same team since 2015, so they know us and they have been working with us. Fortunate enough to work with a partner persons since a long time ago, 2015. And then we have US Landry, Loftmark. They're really big in the US. I think they're a little bit in Canada too. But they're the lender and mortgage broker. So we had worked with Lockmark for a couple of deals. And um, and also we have insurance broker, whole group, which is based in Cincinnati. We have also used him for the last two projects. So they give us very good insurance protections, and also quote the price rise since 2018. And of course, last but not least is we have been working the same property management group since again 2017 in the Ohio local property management company, and we relying on building a strong network and to deliver the result that we say that we could. And so far, knock on wood, we have. And but it's not just me. It's a lot of work that is down to all the ways to how do we renovate the properties, how do we manage. That's to this day we're at 120 units. So we couldn't do all the leasing, do all the screening, do all the marketing. Not only talk about just normal managing. Of course, we're turning 69 units in about a year. So turning means we position that we're going in every single unit to do renovations, and which is what Thor. It's really fortunate to be working Thor on that project. Yeah, so that's kind of a little bit of ourselves. Me, Mandy, and Raymond, we are the managing partner of our group. And yeah, so I'm going to
Good,
jump.
thank you.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump into the next slide. Yeah, I jumped in too quick. Sorry. So who we are, I think we cover a little bit of that. We are Canadian-based company, but I would like to say it again. We don't do single families. We don't do Canada properties. Those are those are my past. I've done that before, but since we creating this company, we basically decided that we are going to be the Canadian company who can speak the Canadian language for our Canadian investors and in home here, and but we focus on multifamily apartments, actually C class, B class properties in the 60s and 70s. That's what we targeted in, and only in the U.S., but only in the Ohio, because we really believing in we can do a good job if we know what we do at where we at, uh, with who we interact with. So that's it's come back to where the market is. The market is very big, so we can't cover everywhere, and we can only attract the deal flow from the people who we created trust over the years. The picture that that's showing on the right hand side top there, it is actually one of the six building on the first purchase in 2017. We put on contract, and 18 we close it, so we still own that building. It looks like it's a smaller multifamily, actually, that has 8 unit there, but I really say that we like smaller size building because we are not competing. That's also another reason who we are. We know a niche is we cannot compete with everybody. We have to be nimble enough and know our niche with particular type of brokers, which is basically what you would find a smaller unit under 100 units in BNC, that with certain firm that we can create a relationship, or broker we have, and we can create a relationship with, because we matter to them at that level. Um, but so we so the return that we able to share, and we promise that we're able to share, is based on scalable, right? So we're doing this is our third time now, and we hope that we infuse enough confidence for whoever working with us. We know what we're doing, and we believe we are, but it's come down to building the trust. It's every project is different, of course, but it's the same. But underlying principle is the same, right? Turning the stones, or finding those one in 50 or 100 units. I mean, 100 properties that we ever see. So it is always that number. How many you see, and then you find that one. Okay, that may be able to have enough value add component to bring the team in, and scalable, doing the same, repositioning the property, repositioning tenants, and then exit it. And in this case, for this 26 unit, we are doing 12 months to 24 months. So between 1 and 2 years, we project that we exit the investment, exit the investors with 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 a repeatable strategies.
So exit strategy after around 12 months, 1 to 2 years, if I understand it correctly.
That's correct. 1 to 2 years. We and it's based on the realistic schedule of going in, a realistic schedule, we call it doing the repositioning of the properties, which is the units, and upkeep everything, doing the renovations, and then stabilizing the asset, and then sell it. So we doing the whole renovations would not take more than would not take more than 6 months, based on our and I wouldn't be comfortable to tell you that if this is my first time doing it. Of course, this is my our third time, and we know how many we can do with the team that we have built in local market in Ohio, in Cincinnati and Dayton, and we were able to turn 6 unit a month, and so let's just call it 5 months, and then you have to stabilize it, right? And then stabilize take about 3 months. In fact, you're stabilizing it while you're continuously doing the work, doing the renovations for the first 5 months, and then the last 3 months, and you want to stabilize at 95% occupancy. Of course, what that does is to give a really good we call it T3, or trailing 3 months of stabilized income, and that's where you can and basically put it back to the market and sell it and exit the property, exit the investors, and yeah, that's where we projected that between the 12 months to 24 months to exit the investment. It's good. So moving on. So it's summarized what really we I kind of touched on, but without a clear diagram, is really comes down to first of all, you have to have the right market, and the market you have to have a competitive edge, and we believe we have competitive edge, and in this market, because after I'm gonna still for what's playing in a market that we do know well, and when you go to that market, brokers are looking forward to meet with us, because you have done some deals and you have performed. So so in that Ohio market, so when we go there, you're able to have some interesting projects we're able to browse and to underwrite and to secure. So that's the first thing in the wheel, right? And then we identify those projects, and then we put on contract, just like this one. We put on contract, and we targeting a close on the 15th of January 2022, and then so from day one, in this project, right? It's just like any project that we talk about value add. We have a renovation budget component, right? We don't look for investor for the capital, and we build a budget when we engage our lenders. So the lender we do and we engage in the United States, they know, and this is also what they do. We have a renovation component, and in this project, so to turn 26 units, and to the level that we would like to turn, to reposition it, it's going to take 350,000 to turn it, right? And so all of the $350,000 is earmarked with the lender, so they know it and they will provided it. So that's also one thing that we do. It's really coming down to knowing what is who can provide you this kind of loan, and are they willing to do that, and of course that this is a third time doing it, so we know who are willing to do it, who are not. So and then that is the that's the renovation part, and then filling the tenants part, and then of course really important, it's come down to daily operations. So the first property that we still own, that we have purchased in 2018, the picture that I showed top right hand corner, that property, obviously we're operating it, still operating at high mid 90% occupancy. So so that is, I guess, kind of speak of operations. excellence, or maybe I should say operation consistency, because doing the project, finding the market is one thing, but to operate consistently, that's also another thing that that we rely on. But we also, it's our job to make sure that the property management companies that we rely on doing what they need to do. So that's the 120 units that we talk about. And then of course, doing all this, we create some values, and then we here and asking our investors to believe what we can do, and to create the values creations here, and then share. And so that's, and then we do it again. So so this is kind of like the overview slides on the first project we did. It's the backstory of this is it's 48 units, six building. Each building is have 8 units, and it's a 45. The detail is 45 one bedrooms, and then the 3 2 bedrooms, so it wasn't at the level that we would like to be, and it also wasn't at the level that we would like to be when we purchase it. But honestly, that's where the value is, right? And that's where we think that's have potentials. And when we put on contract 2018, and then we eventually close in 2018, the existing owner have only for 30 years and has not really have planned to push to the market rent, right? They're at 350 per one bed per month, and really the market at that time is about 475. I'm sorry, 475 to 500 at that time, so, but it's come, and then we purchased it at 1.32 million, just at around $27,000 per unit. So it's this, so the story is really much the same under market rents, right? And how do we know is the market rents, right? It's coming down to knowing our competitions within the 3-mile radius. And how do we know? Myself and my team, Raymond, and we walk the competitions, so we know it's not really from street view, apartments.com, and I physically walk down. So that's how I know. And I don't walk one, right? When you walk one, you have an idea, but you walk 5 to 7, then within that radius, then you bang on what you can charge, and what is the finishing your competitions, what's the size, what they have on the amenities, so that those kind of detail will actually make us to basically be able to tell ourselves and our investor, this is what we think when we complete the work, when we increase the rent, and this is the level. And when we have the conversations with the lenders, they really relying on, and why do you think the rent, the income, the revenue is at that level? And because we take the time to go to the properties, to go to the competitions, to go to the market, that conversations becomes very much more easier, because they relying on our ability to know this is our gig, this is our business. So and it's really helped that conversations.
Howard, when you said you're scalable and repeatable, so do you have another property you can show which has a similar performance or the same type of approach?
Yes, yeah. This is the first one that I thought. Thank you. So the next one, the next slides is really let me jump on. So the next one is a bigger unit, 69 unit, and 3 buildings. But we are, we talk about repeatable. It's really true, because it's not, the formula is different, but it's really it's doing the same value add strategies, and really, in this case, it's not 48 units, 69 units. But again, we finding the market is below, like the rent at this property is below that our competition is at 700, 800, or $900. So how do we know we is repeatable? Because we already rented 5 of the units. We complete the renovation on the second example here. So is repeatable is because when we put a property on contract, we know the potentials of the market. So by doing the homework, doing the underwriting, doing the market comps. So yeah, so that's why we say it's repeatable, because we do not target the properties at have a rent level that is matching everyone is charging. We target the properties with with a rent that is much lower than everyone is charging in that sub market. So yeah, so that's make it repeatable. So this is yeah, so so of course it's a different property. So this is 3 buildings and 69 units. But in this case, the numbers, it is also more units. It's also a couple years later. So we got in a little bit more per door wise is 48, 49,000 per doors. But when we finish the work, this property will worth 5.5 million. With what we're projecting on doing all the work, again, it's the same. When I say doing all the work, is doing the repositioning, doing the lease up, right? And that's where we know this property worth. So it's really you will see the general theme. And then when we come into this property on the next slide, is it needs to have increase of rents. And this is basically is our model. It's not that we invent this model, we don't, but we know this model works from first time and second time, and this is the third. So I'm going to jump on this one. So this is the third time, right? So this is where we are looking at this investment here, 26 unit. So we will jump into more details on what is the rent on later on in this slide, but a little bit of give you our overview what we're looking at for investors. So it's a 26 unit apartment buildings. It's a one big, one small. One is 19 units, another smaller building is 7 units, so 26 unit. And we're looking at 2 years investment commitment. And the first year, we have a cash flow distributed quarterly, but the first year total annualized cash flow distribution is 7%. And we are looking forward to do better on year 2. And this makes sense because we are stabilized, right, at that time. And so capital growth. So if you basically what it is we talk about 20% per year for the return, and then that's including the cash flow and the capital growth. It's cash flow and the capital growth. So total, when we exit in 2 years, it's if an investor invests $10, the total return for that $10 in 2 years will be it eventually will get $1.4, right? Also $14, sorry. So 40%. But this it's kind of what echoes, I think, probably the thought is really the growth of the cash flow. That is basically why we saying that is because it's echoing we can do better when we stabilize in the asset, and it's kind of also showing that on the ability to be able to deliver that kind of cash flow.
Howard, can you show us maybe a little bit about the apartment itself, like location-wise, or where it is in the surroundings? What makes it attractive to have that apartment complex in that area? What is that area a little bit?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
So
okay, yeah. Mhm.
yeah. So Cincinnati itself, it's pretty decent size submarket. It's have 2.4 2.4 million populations in the entire Cincinnati MSA, and a couple of the really high level why we are looking at Cincinnati. Also, we're looking at data is a lot of it's not always on the headlines, but Amazon have is the we call it the head office of Air Hub, which is basically all the Prime Air. So Prime Air is the Amazon arm for all the airplanes to distribute all in the United States. And at Cincinnati, there's only one. Actually, there's only one major air hub in the U.S., and that air hub is called Amazon Air Hub in CVG, and CVG is the airport name of Cincinnati. So that project itself started by the richest guy, richest person in the world, Jeff, and he was at Cincinnati doing the building the CVG Air Hub in 2018. So that's it by itself. That's 1.5 billion expansion next to the airbase there. But the reason why we look at this asset is actually this is about 10 minutes walk from University of Cincinnati, which is the major university, have 46,000 students enrollment just on that university itself. Have basically that's about 10 minutes walk from this apartment to that University of Cincinnati, and then next to that, there's also the medical corridor, which is have another 50,000 of doctors, medical professions on the north side of the Cincinnati. So basically, university is including 46,000 itself, and then another 15,000 on top of that, just for that medical center. It's a hospital by itself.
So potentially 60,000 tenants in the area.
Yeah, just for those two, but but if you're looking at that, this is also one of the, actually, I learned that when I was walking the property on the 17th of November, because I was talking to one existing tenants. He is actually living in this apartments, and he's now a student. And I asked him so what's your profession? He actually say that, I love, this is close to downtown, is about 15 minutes drive to downtown. So he actually works in downtown constructions, but he just living in this apartment complex. So and Cincinnati, that the CDB, that Cincinnati Central has another 100,000 of employee within that. So yeah, so it's a lot of, I would say it's a lot of tenants. If you're not including the whole Cincinnati itself at 2.4, and this is on top of that, this is a very desirable submarket that we able to log on this. Is very good opportunity because it's a B area by itself, submarket, and within 10 minutes, I personally again drive to the north side. There's one arrow that the top arrow coming down, that is from that area. That's where you can find $2 million, $4 million mansions. Again, within 10 minutes drive. But that's kind of the backstage of backgrounds why we will, even though it's a smaller complex, but it has its merit. It is in good locations with university, zoo, hospital, close to downtown, and yeah.
Isn't the ATP tennis tournament in Cincinnati? Is that close by the way? That complex?
You talk about FC? Is it the FC soccer?
No. The tennis in Cincinnati.
Yes,
I worked in television, and
yeah,
it's further up in the north, no?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, you're obviously very well connected on that. So it's funny thing is the brokers who is I got to show the story. So the broker who sell this to me, he's a pro tennis player years ago, and so he actually I think it's a Herburn, and then his office is actually in Bull Ash. I don't know whether it makes any sense to you, but anyway, that is on the northeast, that's right, of Cincinnati, which is, we say, the 30 minutes drive, because Cincinnati is pretty big. So yeah, you're right. It's they have a pretty big tennis community within that city, and not even including the FC. They just built FC, another, I think, at least 1 billion stadium in that close to downtown, and then the music hall, which is also very famous there. A lot of jobs, honestly, and if you have time, I would like to cover it. P&G head office there, GE have a really good presence there, DHL have a really good presence in the CBG too. Just to show that that's is a very good working town, to be honest, where still the cost of real estate is still not catch up yet, I would say, but it has so many population of people that who can feel our apartment complex. So
how far is the airport and the Amazon Prime hub there? How far is this from the apartments?
So from here to the airport, you talk about 20 minutes max to drive. So because university apartment, this is actually very close to, so you see that, so the highway is I-75, right, on that, so that's next to the highway. You would just come off from that and then go south, and then once you hit 275 loop, and then you will go west, and then when the Hepburn is actually the airport is on the Kentucky side. They share the one airport, Kentucky and Ohio, for Cincinnati, because Cincinnati itself is actually a tri-state city. So it has include main part of that Ohio, and then a good part, smaller part in the Kentucky, and a small part in the Indiana. So this tri-city, but yeah, it's about 20 minutes max, because it's really close to downtown area. It's close to the highway, side 75 for this apartment.
Thorsten, it's also a good reason for us to do a ride down with our motorcycles.
Yes,
check it out.
yes. You know what, Howard? I like the approach you have when you mentioned university, when you mentioned medical, when you mentioned there is an airport. That's the same type of approach what I do with my smaller properties, which just gives some variety and consistency in tenancy, right? So you have always tenants available. Do you have maybe a slide what you can show us where the airport is located? Maybe just another, I don't know if you have a map or something.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure. So yeah. So I think this.
Oh
is
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So it's so the yeah. So the star is the university apartment. That's where this complex is. So as I mentioned, so you will exit that when you coming from the star, exit that for I-75, and then you go straight past the river, which is Ohio River, and also past the downtown of Cincinnati, because downtown Cincinnati is actually in the Ohio side, where we're at, and then go south, and you pass Covington, which is this Cincinnati part in Kentucky, and then you keep driving the highway, and then until you hit the 275 down there, and then that's where you so you hit there, and then you exit the 275. So I come to this airport eight times already this year, because I travel down very frequent, a lot. Last time I was in Cincinnati CVG, this airport, in November 17. I told you guys. But yeah, so it's about 20 minutes drive from the property to the CVG hub. But
Yeah, I'm just excited when I see the left side here, what you have here, that Amazon has their own flight operations beside FedEx and UPS, right?
yeah,
So that's going to be big. That's nice. 1.5 billion initial investment. So that's
I like to talk to brokers a lot about this airport. So not this broker who's selling me this apartments. So I like to talk to. So I like to. This is what I always do when I go to my market. So I don't only just look at my properties. So I also constantly talk to different broker. And in this case, I was talking to another broker team. They are Marcus and Millichap, so they are obviously really big as well. And I asked him, so how is the Amazon Prime Air Hub is doing? And so the latest is obviously has been building and building. They are still building, and but it's already partly open. But what Amazon has been doing is they buying up a lot of lands on the north side of the airport CVG for parking the distribution hub for all the sorry, I'm looking all the trucks. So they have like fleets and fleets of because once it arrived to MS to Cincinnati CVG, they will use the trucks to travel to different areas. And within Cincinnati, like something like 50% of the population of the US can be drive within a day and a half. So that is why strategically Amazon picked that locations. Of course, is not only one thing, locations, labors, and easy access to highways. And in fact, I even though I have the other two properties that I show is in Dayton, I always travel to Cincinnati CVG airport and do that 15 minutes drive to Dayton, because this is a really major airport in the United States.
Yeah, I can see that, because well, Amazon it's a name, it's a brand, but with that expansion, it's not only setting precedents, but there's more to it, right? I mean, you mentioned they eventually have more fleet. Well, what happened to the fleet? The trucks have to go somewhere. So that means there needs to be car dealerships, there needs to be repair services, there needs to be road infrastructure and so on. So that's what I like with that. There's so much more coming in, infrastructure and other smaller businesses, supporting businesses. And that again creates tenants and money.
And I don't know whether you so also in addition to that, I don't know whether you caught your guys' eyes on Wall Street Journal this morning. So all UPS have a presence in Cincinnati and in Kentucky. It's called another town called Lexington. Basically, they have the equivalent of Amazon Prime, but it's obviously UPS is another like really big logistic company on air flight. So they are they are scooping out all the people. They raise the minimum incomes to minimum pay to $20, $21 on the night shift. They're doing it. Amazon Air Prime here years ago, this particular SI were the air hub for DHL back from 2015, 2000 earlier days. But what Amazon does is pushing a lot of DHL, the older terminal that's used by DHL, and then of course keep on expanding it to other locations. So strategically, Midwest is very important for distributing all the goods. We talk about supply chain right now, but the Midwest is very important to distribute all the goods to the United States because strategically located, very strategically, like of course, but when we talk about the whole Midwest, you wouldn't find it. So when we talk about passengers, so you obviously talk about in the Indianapolis, we talk about MSP and in Indianapolis, Minneapolis, but we talk about cargo moving. So you won't be hard to find out that actually CVG is one of the major cargo moving airport.
And how about Cincinnati? Is Cincinnati? I have never been in Cincinnati, but you have been there a few times now. What can you tell us about Cincinnati, the city itself?
It's very conservative, honestly. Conservative. The people is very Catholic. So a lot of that it's come down to they don't lead this in Ohio. Maybe I should say Ohio is very conservative. It's very Republican too, and it's very landlord friendly. So I would jump off. If you allow me, I would actually go to. So this is some of the highlights of this city, and they have actually Cincinnati Zoo. Interesting enough, is very famous. I personally never been, and I always want to go, but I find it always meetings with brokers. One of the biggest and famous in Cincinnati Zoo, but I would actually want to single out this. This is the 500 companies that is stationed. P&G is there. P&G's with over 100,000 employees worldwide, in the billions, 76 billions, and they have the headquarters in Cincinnati, and you have financial like Fifth Third Bank and
Western and Southern, Western Southern Financial Group head office. Wow.
Yeah. So it's Mars.
Yeah. So just to understand, I got right now the map in front of me, and so that project you just showed a map. You just showed a map from the brochure. Yeah. Is that where close to the university that where the star is, or is it in Dayton actually? Sorry, because you were mentioning also Dayton.
Dayton is the previous project, Mars.
That was the previous one.
That's the project
okay,
I'm in. Yeah, the project which started a year ago. That's in Dayton.
That was in Dayton, but this one is actually very
University.
Central. If I see it right.
So you're right, Mars. So this project itself is basically in Clifton, Cincinnati.
In Clifton, yeah, Clifton. I see it. I found Clifton actually. Okay, Clifton, very good.
Very high, pretty high end neighborhoods in Cincinnati.
Yeah, absolutely. And close to the museums and botanical garden, and
that's a good location.
Very good.
Howard, can you give us one more time a little bit an overview of since you're talking about the complex, one more time over the complex itself?
Yes.
Like what's the price package, for what price you're looking at to obtain or do the acquisition?
So we are, so this is I'm trying to find that. I don't know how this one. Sorry about that, guys. Yes. So we got on contract on this for 1 million, 1.04 million for these properties. So it's at 40,000 per door. So the comparison is this. So that helps you to understand why this is a good opportunity. So Dayton is it's a smaller market, have about 800,000 populations. So we got on the last project at 49,000 per door, while we got on this project at $40,000 at the size of Cincinnati is about 2.4 million population. Is also from the lender perspective, they would lend money to this project much more than the project we were in. Not saying that the previous project is not good, but in terms of risk ratio, to lock on contract at these locations, and it's close to university, close to a hospital. So that is why we are very, very excited. And of course, we have to do work and be preparing to do so. And so that's the only way that we can deliver the growth, to be honest. And the value add, and I'm going to bring it on, is we are budgeted, as we said, $350,000 for the whole renovation project. And we devoting $9,000 a door to each unit to revitalize the units. And then we also have money for the exterior to build the new stairs from the where the unit is to the ground. So we see some of that can be transformed. So all this within 24 months of time. And to summarize again, we raise, not raise, we budget an E-mark and the 100% of the renovation cost from the lender, which is 350,000. But yeah, this is the first time we're doing it. And in fact, when we're talking to our lender, the lenders were giving, usually it takes times to come back with a quote, but for this one, we basically got the LOI offer or term sheets from the lenders within 2 days. And so that's kind of show the confidence of what kind of asset we are able to target and locked on it.
Howard, presently tenants are in there, or is it already empty, or how does that work?
Yeah, so very good question, Mars. So right now is 50% occupied. So 50% have tenants in there, they're paying it right now. And so that's why we have a very aggressive renovation schedule, right? So we have a chart that we actually share with the lender, because the lender said, how do you know that we can do this aggressively? Is all, to answer your questions, does that come down to the planning? So we know what unit we're going to be actually going in. Month number 1, January, let's call it January. And then we know which unit we're going the second month, February, and then we so on and so forth. So, and that is down to the per month ratio, per month basis. We show that how many we can do with our team a month. And once we did that, we will put it on lease immediately. So that is start generating cash flow. It's not only that it's good for cash flow, but it's also start for stabilization for our cash flow for the project. There's 2 ways to do it, right? You can advertise on the market, which we do think, and it's based on the comparison again on the market, that we're going to be able to rent at that level. And also we can also internally transfer existing tenant that we think that could fit the final product of this property. But we have to recheck the tenants, because now we are increasing the rent from $300-400 to $700 or $800. So they could be able to afford the old rent. It doesn't mean that they could afford the new rent. So we have to reevaluate the income, and which is usually is a 3-month test, 3-month income test on. So if we charge $800 and they have to make $2,400 a month. So yeah, so it's right now the 50% occupied, and that's how we can project that we're going to complete it in 5 months.
When you say overall renovation costs $350,000, do you have to close the financing at a certain point? I mean, till January 15th, or is that a rolling thing where you say?
No, so this is how it works, right? This is how we do. So we have LOI. So basically, the LOIs give the lenders a next step. So basically, they will underwrite the project. Like we have done our underwriting. They are going to be underwriting it. They are doing it right now with the committee, and they give a term sheets, which basically what we asked for. We asked for in fact we asked for 1.1 million in total, including the 350, right? Because that's they lend us 80% of the project plus the 350, hence is 1.1 million. But it's not a rolling thing. I within my team, me and Raymond and Mandy, we know that we're able to close this January 15th because we lock on contract on 16th of November. So that contract spelled out how long we can close, when we can close. So we have 60-day close on this property and another 30 days extensions. So that's how it works. So if we have to close later, we could, but I don't anticipate we're going to be needing in this case because we're doing very good on fundraising. We also have a really trusting partner on the bank side. So I don't anticipate we will need to pass that. But if we need to, we could. So that's always good to have that as a what if scenario. So next. So again, to kind of summarize, so it's a 26 unit, just under 10,000 square feet, building wise, 2 buildings. They are 1 story and built on the 60s, and which is what we like. And pitch roof, again, that's also what we like. The roof itself is about 10 years old, just if you're interested. And the roof frame, brick, exterior constructions. It's actually the frame is actually cinder block and wood frame. So so it's actually on that. So that unit mix on down there showing what is a unit mix. The 16 of them is studio. 10 of them is 1 bed. That's even more exciting things that I didn't, and I reserve it to share with the investor who interested. We're turning all those studio to 1 bed, and of course it's very obvious because we want to charge a higher rent. We're going to add a dividing wall, add a closet, small one, doesn't have to be big because our unit is actually relatively small, and add a door, and there we have 1 bed instead of studio. If we want, we can leave couple studio in there, but I don't really think that we have to. We're just going to maximize all the rental income by setting a wall. We talk about 1,500 to 2,000 to do that, and put for the 16 of them, and we have enough budget to be able to do that in our renovation budget. So that's additions. In addition, what we are so we're very excited. And on the right hand side, so shows that how far we are from CVG, where is the immediate access. So the 10 minutes, I think it should be 15-20 minutes, just also on the record. And it's immediate access to 75 corridor, and I explain to you, and then tee off immediately to 275 to the airport. 10 minutes is actually to downtown, so that's probably what it should mean. But again, it's not big. We're not trying to turn units. We when we do renovations, one thing that we always remind ourselves and remind our construction partner, We're not trying to turn it into a high-end hotel. We have to be really um, very due diligence on what we're turning our apartments to be. I I I so when I say that this kind of level of renovation is what we need, I don't judge it because of our renovation experience or project experience. It has to be down to the per project basis. And hence, when I look at each project, I look at this project competitions, which means we talk about within the 1 mile radius, what is everyone's doing in terms of rent, in terms of what they're charging, what is the finishing, and the size and amenities. And that's how I come up with, I know this is my market rents because you always get challenged, to be honest. We're talking to lenders, we're talking with your project managers because they don't want to raise the rent as much as we want to be. But I know the numbers, and not because I look at again on apartments.com. It's because I walk those units. I can back it up with, okay, this is what you see, but you know what? I can show you the pictures because I walk there as a prospective tenants, and this is what they're charging. So I just have that really funny discussion with my property managers about raising rent. And I'm really proponent, I mean, because it's about raising rent to the market, not higher than the market, but to the market, maybe even a little bit less than the market, because that's the real number I can push. And speaking of market rents, my apologies. This is the slide that we kind of jump it off about competitions of rents. So on the top right-hand side, so the first one, we see that 425 is one bed, is where we are at. 375, again, is the studios where we're at. This probably doesn't matter because we turn it into one bed. So you see our competitions is at $800, 725, 900. So we talk about really high numbers. So when I looking at our competitions, I look at all this and I cannot see. That's first of all, there's issues of feeling it because first of all, I see a lot of apartments and I see, this is not our comps, but I give you an example. Within 1.5, I say 1.5 mile radius, I see, I was really shocked because I see a new build A class, not compare apple to apple, but they are charging $2,000 for one bed. So again, it shows that it's always good to know that's new build in the area because that's, to be honest, that's people who can afford it. And I was even add to say this, so people living there for a reason, because of amenities, because of schools, because of hospital. But when, and always looking at what if, when the economy is starting to come down, and we don't know when is that, and we will never know, the A-class buildings will always push, because of the affordability, will always push tenants to consolidate to B and C class. And that's why, another reason why I like B and C class, because there's always more affordable than our A and B and our C properties, because we're just not competing with them on the class level. But because of that, we also have a cheaper alternative when the economy is not doing as well. When a well-paying job is not paying, then they were looking at us, and that is where I also would give me a good feelings, and because we're not D properties, but we won't touch it ever. But in the C and maybe even the C plus properties, that's where we're looking at. So, but I just want to show you these are our competitions, and I'm not concerned at all with our rent projecting $700 with respect to when we completed the units. So thanks for watching this, and I'm just going to go to the return slide. So so ask me any question if this doesn't make sense, Mars. So this is what it looks like when investors invest 50,000 US and into this project. And we're talking about cash flow. We're also talking about of capital growth. But the overall in sum is so first year cash flow is 7%. It's showing on this graph, showing on the table as well. And that is a ratio of 7% of the $50,000. And then second year is 8% because of stabilizations. It's better cash flow. The property is more full now with a full year. And then when we exited at the year end, at the year two, we this is based on our increase of rent when we sell it. It's that's 20% return per annum come to the play. So altogether is a 40% for 2-year hold and 40%, and that is 20% per year.
So the cash flow, I think you mentioned earlier quarterly pay. So for example, the year 2 quarterly, that means $1,000 per quarter, annualized 4,000.
Yes.
Yes.
That's-
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's 8% for
For example, okay.
Yeah.
This is 50,000. I mean, I guess can just double it up. What about 100,000?
Yeah, so it's
Or just to see a difference.
so this is the 100,000.
Oh yes, okay.
So it's everything is still to the percentage 7 and 8, and then the 40%.
Doubled up, yeah.
But yeah, it's just this is the 100,000 example. Moving on.
And then this is 2 years only, right? Why not 5 years?
To be honest, we want to provide options for investors. For some investor want the longer term play, some investor want shorter term play. We first of all, smaller properties also easier to sell it when we're done. A lot more investor will be able to afford this in this price range when we're done, even when we're done. So we want to provide that. We have 5 year, as you know, the Claypool project is 5 year, but this is 2 year. Just want to give some options for investors. With we know they want to see their money sooner, so we want to provide the options and work with different kind of investor for that for their preferences.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
Good.
So we have some FAQ. We can go for that.
Well, the first question you already answered. Annualized distribution quarterly, right? Yeah, starting immediately. Okay. So tax stipulation wise, since I have been for a few years now in the US with some investments, Mars, I don't know if you have yet the experience in the US, but if you do need some accountant who is specialized in the US, then let me know. I have definitely a US.
Okay, very good. Yeah, no, I don't have.
Yeah. So this guy is actually really good because he's an ex Revenue Canada enforcement guy. So he knows Revenue Canada in and out. He has worked for Revenue Canada for 20 years, and now he is an accountant, and especially also specialized for US investments. So if that comes down to it, then let me know. I can definitely connect you with that person.
Yeah, that would be great. Yes. Good.
I've used them now for I think 6 years now. So, and the same for you, Howard. If you do have other investors coming in, they do not have maybe a accountant who is specialized in the US. By all means, you can provide them my contact, and I can provide them with the accountant contact them.
I do like that. I will reach out because um I do have contact, but I think what is good with you in your company, Thor, is a credibility because you are also investors coming from you, and your team is also, is the bias is less when we talk about investors because you have been with this persons for years, and you trust him. So I will actually take advantage of that.
Yeah, especially the one guy I'm dealing with, he likes Cuba. He's going traveling to Cuba at least 6 to 8 times a year. He's traveling to Cuba from Toronto, flying down there. He likes cigars and Cuban beach, so I like him.
I,
Um,
you can put that with our weather here in Canada, I suppose. I do like cigar. I confess that as well.
Now, Howard,
Yeah.
so may I ask, just on the side before I forget it, you guys, all you three live in Cincinnati, in Calgary, correct?
Me and my wife are definitely live in Calgary, and Raymond live in San Jose, so it's California. That yeah.
Good.
So
All
because
right.
yeah, he's been in San Jose area for 15 years, and that's advantage to that is when we are of course going through the banking and trying to get loans in the U.S. and they do looking at quite a bit of heavily on what is the active partners residing in, and that is one of the strong thing in our team because not only he has been is down there for we have American persons, but he has been down there for 15 years, and even during the lockdown, and I was able to travel, in between Canada and US no problem because it's for business, but in the rare scenario if we have serious lockdown, Raymond can still fly from some San Jose to Cincinnati with direct flight or indirect
Yeah.
flight within 5 hours.
That's
So
good, yeah.
yeah, so that's to be honest, that's also another strength with our team.
Good to know. All right. Yeah. So where do we go from here?
Is the sorry, I got one more question. Is the investment somewhat guaranteed, or how do you approach a guarantee on that one?
So yeah, so I got some time to basically write it down. So so this question. So for the investor invest in, so that's no different from what for you participate on last project. When you buy it in, you don't buy it in as a debt instrument, anything. You buy it as a unit of the LP that we created. So you're actually as a unit holder or owner for that LP. So in that sense, so you kind of owning a share of that company who own the property itself. But the long story short is we do, this is how I look at it. This is not our first project. This is our, we want to keep doing this and we want to keep building. And in fact, we never, honestly, the truth answer is I never stopped looking at projects. We have a, good plan to keep on expanding. We want to look at least 2 more properties in 2022. Like honestly, confidently speaking, and a bigger scale as well. But you're buying as a unit of the limited partnerships. That is a Canadian limited partnerships created by a Gowling, which is pretty international firm, and and we always buy property insurance, of course, that is protected that way, and we have 2 million on these properties we got quote already from the insurance broker. So so I hope the investor feel secure with with a little bit of experience that we have, and honestly. We there's no way that we don't try to deliver results to investor because we're a small company. Our name is everything, honestly.
I'm just was thinking of a question, but I forgot it now.
No problem.
It will come back maybe tomorrow, that question. Mars, you got any questions?
No, you remember I sent you the the questions that were in German, so I didn't look up how it,
Oh, hang
to
on.
ask them in.
Gotta look up my cell phone. Yeah, you sent me something.
You,
Maybe you can help me with that.
Let's have a look here.
it's got, both of you speak German?
Germans always speak German.
Okay, so the deal is secured. We talked about already. There's a mortgage assigned to it, right? And part of that is, I think, being used for the renos as well, right? So we're looking at a purchase price of 1.1, but it costs actually 1 point and the quid, whatever. So the 1.1 includes the renos.
Yes.
The partners, so you are the general partner as Hey to Break as company, and then every investor will be a limited partner. So therefore a shareholder, you assign shares.
That's correct.
So you
Yes.
create a company, University Apartments, for example.
In fact, the limited partnership has been already created.
Yeah.
And I have so this is what I have, and I have the GP created, so which is the company. I always create a new structures. I don't there's no commingle of different properties on different projects. So this LP is for this asset.
Yeah.
Always like that.
Which makes sense.
And,
yeah.
And then so I have the GP articles of certificate. I can send it to you, Thor, and so that you can share with Mars. And I also have that the limited partnerships that certificate not created by me. It's all done with Gowling, created by Gowling, the LP. And also the third document is the LP agreement, also created by Gowling. That is a very boring 50 pages operating agreement. And then and the fourth one is the subscription agreement that you are familiarized with, for that you signed with Claypool.
Yep.
So and for all four of those, I will send it over to you so you can view it for this particular deal. So and then you can review that.
The exit strategy, if in 2 years you want to sell the property, but the market is down for whatever reason, like let's say it's 2007 in the US. Are you considering to hold it for another couple of years, or you're paying out your investors regardless? And how do you plan for those? I mean, in a strong market, anybody can sell in a strong market, anybody can whatever, right? But just for example, if that, what's the exit strategy there? Do we regardless sell whatever prices are available in the market, or do you guarantee a certain return to the investors and you cut losses there? I don't know how you're going to do this. Or do you say, you know what, I buy the partners out and I carry on and keep the property myself?
So my first option is always keep my word. And that's another way to keep my word, even if the market is down. So the question is, because the value add strategy that we're doing it, so we don't. So if this project is 5 years, honestly, that will have more risk compared to a 12 months renovation project. So the one way to do it is because when we are increasing it, the target ARV of this property is around 2 million. So we buy at 1 million, the ARV is at 2 million. So if for whatever reason that we cannot sell, let's just say that, like, let's say no one's want to buy at the price that we want, but
Yes.
we still want to exit it. We can always refinance at 75-80% of that, which is, let's just call it 1.6, right? 1.5
Okay.
of that loan. And then we reuse the loan to pay the first loan and then exit the investors. So
Okay.
that is our strategies
Yeah.
to doing that. But of course, I don't have a crystal ball, but that's just a second exit strategy that's always in play, even though, to be honest, I don't anticipate that in this case, because but there's always a second strategies, which is to refi it, exit the investor, fulfill the promise. And to honestly give you the answer of that is, we will do it regardless whether we can able to refi, because we're trying to grow. And so it's also give us a little bit of flexibility, because now we own a little bit more asset. So we have a little bit more cash flow and asset to be able to do so if we can sell and we can refi, and we still want to pay back the investors. So that's our commitment to our investors. That's, if that makes sense too.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's just a question, right? Because there's an old saying, chances prefer the prepared mind. So if you're prepared for the eventualities, then you are prepared, right? So, and that just gives another security.
You mean hope for the best, but count with the worst?
No,
Yeah,
it's not hoping. Everything, I think, has to be calculated. I mean, that's what at least I look at it. It has to be calculated risk at least. But again, there's always some potentials what you cannot calculate whatever happened, right? Like, who knew in 2019, in summer 2019, we are today going to a restaurant with a mask or having certain mandates, certain, like, sitting Christmas time with a family together in a Tyvek suit and having a gas mask on or whatever, right? Who would have thought so in 2019, right? So it's just a thing to be prepared for those things, and that's why I asked just that question. And if we have
we are
that
prepared.
already thought of, then we are good and we are ready to go. And if not, then we should think of that, right?
Yeah, we are prepared to keep our word to our investor either way, just so that yeah, because honestly it's the trust, and we want to do something that is lasting, so we don't breaking the promise is not really our options, to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Howard,
From the past two, go ahead. Go ahead.
go. It's all good.
Oh, okay. No, I just wanted to ask, from the past two projects you had, the demography of the investors, were they mainly from Canada, or do you had a mix with US investors?
Yeah, so it's a mix. So to answer your questions, it's a mix, but mainly Canadian, because I'm Canadian as well. So so I have one investors that pull her fund from cash, and also IRA, which is RSP equivalent of that in the US. But many of my investors for the first two projects are Canadians.
And they stick to you, or is that kind of each time a new group? How is that? I mean,
fact,
do you have some kind of
yeah, so in fact, the first one, all the investors did invest in the second projects, and on top of the first project, and then they go into it. And one investor did exit the first project and then come again on the second project, and he's also considering doing. I actually just met with him. It's Calgary local, not Vancouver, not Toronto, but it's a previous coworker of mine. I know him for 5 years now. So yeah, he's also considering, but yeah, so that's a mix, but to answer questions, mostly majority is Canadian.
Is there a max number of investors you want to have for this project? Like a max where you say, okay, I want to have maybe 10 investors or 20, but not more than that. I gets too busy or too administrative high burden or whatever it is, or is there anything?
Anything, I would say under 10 is manageable for each project. Thor, answer your questions. We there's the honest answers to that is we're not in we want to do well with good quality. So we can so that's why our minimum investment is at higher as a higher. So we cannot we don't want to divide up our attentions to and we cannot afford, honestly, that's the true answer is to 50 investors, because the deals is kind of small, right? And we want to deliver, honestly, quality investor relationship as well, which if we're talking to 10 50 of them at 5,000 each, it's just hard for size of our company.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I cannot come up with any questions currently. There was one question, but probably that question comes back tomorrow. So I will maybe shoot you an email. I already forgot. I was thinking of something, but Mars, you got any questions or?
Right now, no.
Mars, also
would
with
love to
time.
see the-
With time-wise, Mars, I can also offer you, if you have a question coming up, just shoot me a message via a phone here, and then I can forward this to Howard if, you know, if there's a time delay or whatever while you're still in Germany and so on, we can definitely do that as well. That's no problem.
How is the Germany situation? It's in terms of I got to ask, how is the Germany situation for the healthcare situation there?
You mean with the Omicron and all that specifically, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
it's not good. It's they are already talking of a fifth wave. It's kind of frustrating because Germany was already recovering, and then suddenly, and I came over here, you know, after a 2 years break. I thought I do a 2.5 month visit to Hamburg, which is my hometown. And as soon as I came here, 2 weeks later, suddenly this Omicron thing came up, and I was already here. And then the discussion was, okay, well, it was getting worse and worse and worse, and now I'm in the middle of it, and each day getting closer to my return flight, which is on January 20th. So I'm thinking, okay, I just sit it out. But this trip was not what I expected, because it is kind of a little bit boring. You can't travel around easily, you know. I mean, I wanted to do a little bit European, traveling in Europe, and it's everything is pretty much restricted. United Kingdom, as you know, it's really high, the numbers, 100,000 reached now for Omicron. This is what I heard per day. 100,000 new infections per day in UK alone. It's pretty crazy, and France is closed. So it's really difficult. And Canada now, I heard they put Germany on a no travel zone, no travel list.
So you may not be able to come back.
That's what I've heard. I couldn't find yet that part, but in the internet. But Lufthansa will let me know when we get close to the return flight.
Or maybe you have to, maybe 2 weeks before, you have to go maybe to another country, to Sweden or somewhere, and sit 2 weeks in Sweden, and from Sweden you come over.
Yeah, but you have to be careful, because actually they ask you where you have been in the last 14 days, right?
So, yeah, that's why 2 weeks you have to do. 2 weeks
and then
you have to
Sweden
stay
is suddenly in the list.
Or maybe they have to go to Russia or something. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. You just want to come home, right?
yeah, really. I mean, I got all my friends and all that here because it's my ex-hometown. Yeah, but anyway, so and Germany is also kind of interesting in terms of money flow, because you're charged now when you leave your money in the bank, and people are a little bit desperate. what to do with their money, because everything is getting more difficult for Germans to save money. Because I mean that's a very German thing, that you save money. That's how we learned it from our parents and all that.
Right.
And it's not the case anymore. So there a lot of Germans are putting their money now into the stock exchange, into the stock market, investing into real estate here is getting more and more difficult. Although you know that when you invest here into real estate, after 10 years is tax-free. But they want to change that.
Wow.
So whatever you invest here is after 10. It's not like in Canada where you invest and in real estate and then you have to pay your 25% tax and all that. No, it's just after 10 years it's yours, and whatever, and no limit how much you buy. It's pretty crazy.
Hey, just one sec. I just have somebody. I just have somebody at the door. Just one sec. I'm just leaving you for a minute. Hang on.
I like that policy, but of course, I do know it's a really big culture for German. In fact, some European countries is very big on savings, right? Like us Chinese, and I don't know, honestly. I didn't know. Is the negative interest rate already hitting? I know different country in Europe, I do know that, but it's I know German that the bond it hit negative.
When you keep more than
I can
50,000 euro on your account, you have to pay negative interest. Interrupted.
Wow, did you see? Sorry, Master. I don't know his mind. Is it 50,000?
Is it your side or is it my side? Because we have now a morning, and in the morning usually is a very high volume of data going through because everyone is turning on his computer. So
that's
I don't know, it could be that case.
Did you say 50,000?
50,000 euros.
That's not even a lot. So that's crazy.
Yeah. So it's around 65,000, 70,000 Canadian dollar.
And what is the charge? How much they charge you?
I haven't figured it out yet, but it all it means is that you somehow have to do something with your money, otherwise it gets less and less. It's not much. It's I think it was what I read, something a little bit below 1%, but still.
You don't want to lose. Inflation is already not in your friend.
It just sits there.
Wow. So that's interesting. It's it's well, hopefully
it will come to. I tell you, I'm not a friend of. I mean, I don't want to get now political, but I'm not a friend of Trudeau, and he's a big spender. This is my view.
Neither.
And,
Me neither.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, then all right. Then we are okay. Then we have one opinion. So. Yeah, and I think he's gonna drain us a lot. If I just let alone if I look at Alberta, I know the honorary consul, German consul in Alberta, Hubertus Liebrecht. He went with, and that was 2009. I remember he went with. There's a German guy here. He also is on a radio show. He gives also lectures. I forgot his name. He's an investor in real estate. He does the same what you do, and he went with a group of Germans from Vancouver down in. Oh,
Aussie Jurok.
Aussie, yeah, Aussie Jurok. Gee, I forgot his name. Yeah, he went with a group of Germans down to the States. I remember that was 2009 or so. and yeah, and did an investment tour. And I think he still does that, but it's I somehow I was not convinced in going in there too. I don't know why. This sounds very interesting, because the interesting part is that you really specialized, obviously, yourself in Ohio and Cincinnati and surroundings. And
that's, you know what,
that is
that's what I
interesting.
like.
So
Yeah, that's
you
what I like
know
to.
the market.
Yeah, you find a niche market,
You know
and
the
then you
market.
go
You're
in
not,
there. Yeah, that's what I like to.
you're not just picking a city. Let's go to Atlantic City, or let's go to Kentucky because we have heard. It's as you said. I mean, you know the people. Important is that you know that you need to know the people who do the trade down there, who are also in renovations, who do it actually, who are the people who do it actually, and I think that's important to have control of the whole situation. Yeah.
You touch on something that is very what I believe, right? And of course,
Yeah, that's basically my 50 cents. So
every
got interrupted. Hello.
Your photo, like you have a still shot now, Mars. You're not moving. Your camera, I don't know. You're frozen.
I think
said- no.
I think Thor Mars told me that because it's early morning, so I think the traffic is start to coming in the morning. That's he was telling me about that.
Okay. So yeah, maybe we're lost in here now. I don't know. I cannot hear him either.
Yeah, me neither. He's still here.
Let's send him. Give me. Also, chat. So I sent a chat message. We'll see if he responds back. But
yeah, he left the meet.
oh yeah, he's out. You know, yeah, looks he left.
It's actually very it's very interactive meeting. It's you know it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality, right? For it's
Yeah, again, as I said, I got one text message sent from somebody who was not able to make it in time home. Maybe I will brief that person on what has been said today. But I expect actually at least a couple more people logging in. That's what I assumed or was thinking of. But
everyone and you know it's hard because it's we're very close to Christmas, so it's a lot of folks thinking about I can say that because mainly focus on Christmas a lot, and of course I don't think about it. I still have to buy her a Christmas present. I don't know. Well, if you got yours or you got your gift card for
well,
oh yeah.
you know what, Howard? Thank you very much. I went yesterday to Granville Island to Vancouver Fish Company to pick up a gift card from the restaurant. Thank you very much.
Oh no,
I was
I
and they were very friendly also when I came in the door, and I said, how does it work? Is there like credit being on your system, or is it a card I can actually physically pick up? And they said, whichever you prefer, you can come by and pick up your card, or we keep it on the system as long as you need to. So I decided to go and pick up the card.
that's very good, because I when I order it, I also want to make sure that they don't give you too much trouble. So I call them and talk to that person, and then actually that I think is the owner, that or the manager is a male, call me back and then say no, the gift card is ready. That's what he told me. Because I don't want you to stand in front of the line and waiting for half an hour and figure it out. So he sounds very friendly too. Yeah.
Okay. Marsh just sends me a message here. He tried to go into the Zoom one more time, but he couldn't log in, he said.
Oh, let's see. You want interesting. Shouldn't I'm trying to look at participant is only and I know we don't have passcode. I removed it last minute so that it shouldn't need. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we stop and start meeting quickly. But if that might help.
So I don't know if he would go back into the link because the meeting is still ongoing. He could go back into the.
It's the same. Should be the same meeting link.
Yeah, he's on the phone here.
I'm just sending a link so that you can forward that to him again here.
Okay. So now he's saying that the connecting little, the little icon when it's turning, connect, that turns forever, and he's not doing much, but
It's it's up to you. Do you?
I mean, I thought we anyway would probably soon close because he was only for an hour in because he wants to go to bed one more time. He has something else on the go, I thought.
You did say
So
we were wrapping up anyway. He
yeah.
he did ask about what's the next step. So, but I of course he will. I I haven't sent you the full documents that so that you and then forward that to Mars to review. Maybe I forward that to you, and then we can, if it's needed, we can have a follow-up call quick.
Yeah.
Do you want to quickly end this and restart it, see whether he can join?
I'm just about to. Yeah, and I just made a mistake, I was just about to send him a link, but actually I have a different email here. How am I going to do this? Yeah, give it one more try. I will send it here now to my cell phone, and then perhaps on the cell phone you can join. We'll see if that works.
Okay. So you have known him for a long time too, or
Yeah, I would say 10 years now. 2009, 10. Yeah, 2009, 10. So over 10 years.
so what is is Yuko coming back home, like, or she is going to be staying in Japan for now?
Well, she's staying till January 2nd, I believe, is the plan for now. So it could be he's even offline now because I sent out a link and it doesn't look like he has received that link.
Yeah,
Oh, getting drier.
bless you.
Hey, my water's empty. Gotta get new water.
Maybe just internet.
So yeah, Howard, just want to use this opportunity one more time to talk about the presentation. At the beginning,
Yes.
you were a little bit too slow. You talked too much, too far in detail. When we had page
That is sense.
1 and 2, I know how this. You want to warm up a little bit your talk, and then you talk. But because I looked at the time, that's why I sent sometimes a message over, next page, please, next page, because I'm looking at the time to try to really finish it in 1 hour. And that's why I said, oh gosh, we are already half an hour and we have not even touched the property itself. We have just talked about other stuff, previous stuff, how to do things, and then examples, and then, oh gosh, we gotta go here. So don't feel like when you look at the text message, don't feel like oh, why did he send so many text messages and here page 3 now, page 4. Then you didn't respond, page 4. And then I said, okay, now let's do the next properties. Okay, next page, next slide, please. Next page, please.
I gotta
Next,
say,
Amazon, please. Cincinnati, please.
I gotta say, Thor, you're very organized. I do know when I work with you a little bit on a slide,
Yeah.
you're also very detailed. So, which I'm talking about comparing to me. So, which I appreciate. But I did see your chat because I was focusing on. So I'm sorry. I was like, oh, I missed a lot of message. So I was like, so but you're obviously very so I do see you palming me on those, and it's very good. And that's very good team to do it that way, because it's make the presentation much more flow, to be honest. And I can look at everything.
No,
But
because that's what I do, right? I look already at the next page or 2 pages ahead here on my second. That's why I have a second monitor beside me. I look at the next page and the page ahead, what's coming up. And then you mentioned certain information which is related to the next page or the after next page, or you said, okay, then we can slide actually into that one. But then sometimes you came back with the information from the page where you were. And, oh, no, we're back. So that's why I send those pages. Okay, page 4 now. Okay, next slide. Okay, Cincinnati, please, or airport stuff. Yeah, so that's
like that. Actually, I like
the
that.
beginning. Yeah, the beginning was some was too much in detail, especially when you talk about, yeah, I've started, this is now my third property. I wouldn't say so. I would just say, yeah, we have been in the US already since whatever, 2017 also. And here I give you an example of property 1, 2, 3, for example. Just leave it by that. Same with when you introduce Raymond. It's nice that you know him through engineering and school, and it is not. But I would just say, yeah, you know what? We know each other from university time, and I know him for whatever X amount of time, 10 years, 20 years or so. And he is our guy in the US. He is able to pull some strings if we cannot get direct in contact with other stakeholders, like, you know, like mortgage, financing, etc. Right? So just like that, and then I would already then go to the next one. And same, yeah, Mandy. I'm whatever. Mandy's my business partner, but also wife. You can mention that, and then then just read it. Only what's on the page. She's looking at the compliance, business risk assessment a little bit, and so that, and then next. Very only two sentence for each person, and then already going into the next property. Because I not only for Mars when he is on for only for an hour, potentially wants to go back to bed maybe, but also if we would have had, for example, 5 or 6 people, they may maybe then also wait for the next information faster, I think. So yeah, that's only my little feedback here when I looked at those things. I mean, the pages look all good. We went over that. The PowerPoint, that looks all good. It's just, and I know how it is at the beginning, you need to warm up for the presentation. You need to talk, and that's what it is. Then you talk, and you get more into personal details and smaller details, but not needed to expose yourself too far as person and detailed into to the investors. Detail about the property, but not about yourself. That you don't need to.
I appreciate that, Thor. To be honest, you probably know presentation is not my forte. But I do it because I have to. And if honestly, if my dream job would be keep closing properties and not do presentations.
Well, yeah, but that's part of it, right? If you want to have business partners, you gotta get used to the elevator pitch, right? You got 3 minutes from ground zero or first floor up to the 10th floor or 30th floor, and in that 30 seconds or 1 minute, or depend whatever time it is, you gotta provide that information really quick. And especially at the beginning, right? Similar when you look at the Shark Tank. That's why I like Shark Tanks, or what's the other one? Property Den, no, is it, what's that?
Dragon's Den?
Dragon's Den. When they pitch their business, I just want to see it, how they present themselves and what do they present actually. And the rest, I don't care. Just at the beginning, when they pitch it, I want to see, do they have done their numbers? Are they confident, or somebody just coming in, it's a broken business, they just want to have one more money? And that's when I like that Kevin O'Leary. He is sometimes very straightforward, but he's right. He said, you know what? You are just another mouthpiece. You're just talking. Your business is nothing. Or when he said, yep, your business is broken. You run out of money for the last 3 years. Every year you run out of money, and now you want to have more money into a broken business model. It doesn't work. More money. It does not work. More money. If the barrel has no bottom, you can put so much water in, it's not holding water. And that's why I like him. So that's why I like those speeches. It shows the difference between people who know their business, right? The numbers, they know the numbers. They have confidence, they've done it, they've been there, and they know potential risk or downforce, and they know how to mitigate it. And that's all what needs to be done in business. So, long story short, I know how it is when you start talking and you want to warm up and talk, but you don't have to expose yourself that much as a business person. Private, if you sit in a restaurant, Granville Island, and have a beer or something to eat, sure, talk about all your personal stuff. In those business pitches, less is sometimes more.
Thank you so much for your of your feedback.
Because I'm one of those talkers. My coworkers, oh, he's talking again, but because I can talk forever, which is not good.
No, it's honestly, that's you know, you hit 2 points, right? One is it's because to be honest, that is what I need to know when I'm doing presentation. And you're right, this is not the first time I'm doing it, of course, but even whether I'm good or not, I do realize I don't do formal presentations as often, but I do a lot of phone calls and stuff. But I and this is absolutely absolutely more than crucial, right? To nail this, right? I don't need to have like 5 different slides. In fact, I can just use the same pitch and just add modify different projects for futures.
Yes.
And then, to be honest, the rest is basically the same, right? Other than the property pages. So this is so 2 comments I take it from you is very useful about the business versus the personal side. I do think that's valid what you said.
Yeah, it's just number one, is not needed, like time-wise, to expose yourself too personally, and also again, when I look at some of those Shark Tanks or whatever, when they come in and talk just really quick business, that's who I am, that's what I do, and that's why I'm doing it. And you can come with me, and we are successful. It instills more confidence, I think, in the potential business partner if somebody is rather quick, short, but has just the right amount of detail or number needed. So, yeah. In overall, I think Mars is interested. At least we intrigued him to want to know more about. I think you definitely presented it a way about you as hate to break. Why are you going in the Cincinnati area? Why are you, and what are you doing? So as he said, right, like, okay, that's good. You go in a specific city for a specific reason. That's good. I like that more than people just go in cities because they need to be somewhere, or because it's whatever currently on a newspaper, the front page or so. No, you go there in a niche market. You have a reason for it, and you are specializing in that niche market. So that's good. That was for him, I think, definitely something what interested him. Again, his brother is like a commercial real estate guy, and he's owning and leasing out a few properties in the Vancouver area. And Mars has just started recently with going into the Okanagan and Penticton, bought a condo for himself there as a vacation condo, and is looking a little bit in the Okanagan area, maybe if he can scoop up a couple of properties perhaps to rent out too. So that's where he is at this time. But his main forte is actually in the film business.
Frame business.
Film, the movie industry. And he used to be the guy when you watch soccer World Cup or Olympics or so, when those cameras, they call it the spider cam, on those cables flying over the stadium, he used to be the guy who's running those cameras.
Wow, so he's on the sit. He's on that the arm thing.
on the cable controlled cameras.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That-
that's what he did for some, and again also had a couple little mini movie shows here and there created. So he's more into, again, like the movie stuff, documentary stuff. But yeah, I know that he's a little bit interested because he's just starting out now, a couple of years ago with real estate. And first I thought of his brother actually. And because his brother, I know him, he's for years and years into commercial real estate. I thought he would have maybe some interest, but he said, yeah, no, I've currently everything placed. My bids are placed. I'm just waiting for the returns, he said. So he was not interested in doing something on a smaller scale, I guess. But yeah, Mars looks like he might be interested. I think so.
Thank you for the opportunity, Thor, and really, I I envision that we are going to be when the next ones come. Hopefully, we can do it again, right, with the group, and it's I think Mars have some interest. I agree, and we can just follow up with him and see whether he want to do it, or this one or next one, or yeah, just and hopefully he can do it. And he on a personal level, I do find him really friendly for investor.
Yeah,
he's
he is. Yeah. Yeah.
He's not, he's definitely not one of you know like, I hold the capital and now what, and definitely not. So I look forward to potentially working with him. It's like, absolutely, it's a very friendly person. So yeah.
Yeah, so I will extend your invitation to him then, that he can maybe contact you. If you don't mind, I can send him your email, howard@haytobreak.com.
Yeah, please do that.
Yeah,
And I can it's if you if you want me directly follow up with him, I can. Or if you want to in between you and him communications, either I
Yeah,
think.
whichever he feels comfortable. I mean, email is no big deal, even with time differences, I think.
Mm,
He is like Germany's 8-9 hours ahead of us. So an email, it's no big deal. The only thing, if he sends me per cell phone a message or so, that's why I offered him, if he wants to have a quick answer or something, I can answer him via phone. Otherwise, then yeah, per email is
yeah, let's do that. And once I have that, I will send the legal documentations, and so he can review that and send it to you as well.
yeah.
And of course, you have questions, and we will communicate on emails. And that's, especially he has a time zone thing. You and I, we can get on the phone anytime, of course. But for him, that makes sense.
Perfect. Okay, Howard. Let's see where this goes with Mars. Yeah, the other person who sent me a text message, I have not received a second text message. Hey, I'm back home or something. I don't know. I will follow up with 918 here in Vancouver now. Maybe I follow up with him tomorrow and see if he still has an interest. And we'll see.
Thank you again, Thor. Appreciate that, and setting up this evening call, and looking forward to close this. And I keep you up, of course, keep you update where we at. But yeah, so I will start by following with that legal documentation email, and then go from there.
Okay, Howard. Good.
Thank you, Thor.
So in the meantime, enjoy Christmas shopping. You got only a couple more days left. The most important thing is that many is okay, whatever you do for Christmas, but the really most important thing is always the kids. The kids have to be happy, and it has to be always fun for them. Christmas has to be fun for them, regardless if there's COVID restrictions on or whatsoever. Like in Vancouver, for example, you cannot have a certain number of family members over, or everybody has to be double vaccinated, otherwise they cannot be over at all. restaurants and whatever. It's like some really strict
We are,
conditions now in Vancouver you're on.
we are too.
Some of them I don't think that's my personal opinion, it's not maybe medically necessary. It's more like a political necessity. But because I'm listening to a couple of other doctors, I have a contact with a doctor at the University of British Columbia, and he has different opinions on things. He is involved in microbiology and epidemiology, so he knows also a little bit about the current situation, and he does not agree with our TV doctor. So
I, I'm at the beginning of this, it's, and I honestly, I don't know where to stand. I think this is a lot of that is, as you said, it's about political, right?
yeah, but whatever it is, even if it's medically, political, whatever, everybody has their opinion. But what I just try to say is that we have to try to have it as much as normal for the kids. So the kids are not really realizing there's something wrong, or even they are kind of behaving differently because of, we should have it as much as normal for the kids. And if we cannot go to certain places because they're shut down, then we have to find an alternative maybe.
We on that note, I don't know whether you know COP. We have a COP here in Calgary, which is in this. It's basically within Calgary. We have a 200 feet hill that it's basically the where that is within Calgary city, and that's I call it a hill because they make fake snow, and that's where the Olympic was in there, COP. So my daughter Hazel were having a snowboarding lesson this week, so in the afternoon I've been dropping her back and forth for this whole week, and she's learning, of course, she's learning snowboarding, right? And it's honestly, I'm gonna admit that it's a lot of hassle to driving back and forth for the last 3 days.
No, it's good.
But yeah, it's
good. It's important. It's important you do it. And then, you know what, one day you should even join in. You should, if you don't have your own snowboard, maybe you should rent a snowboard and just do it together and whatever. But that's what I did with my daughter, right? I was teaching her the first steps in the snow. I put skis under, she put skis under, and then I was holding her and we went down the hill. Same as bicycle. I was running beside her when we took the training wheels off, and so I did not sign up for the bicycle school, or whatever they call it, pedal heads here. Swimming, same thing. I went when she was still in diapers. I went to the pool with her and holding her in the water and let her just sink into the water and catch her up again and so on. So it's important too to spend time with them too, and just, even if it's not the perfect thing sometimes, you know, like even if you don't know how to ski properly and you crash in the snow, that's fine. But the bonding is important, and that, I think it's more so important now with all those COVID restrictions and regulations, that those kids, you know, they go to school or preschool or kindergarten, they have to have masks on and all those things. I feel so sorry for them. So that's why it's so important that they have social fun, right? To compensate for those restrictions. That's important, I think.
We have we have a daughter at home this week, and next week typically she would be at daycare, right? But we didn't let her to go to daycare this 2 weeks. Honestly, it was a little bit challenging while I have to work at the same time, but honestly, yeah, you're right, because she's gonna grow, becomes teenagers very soon. She's 6 years old, almost 7 years old. Yeah,
to her birthday, for example, we did, when she was young, we did a costume party at home. I asked, okay, what do you want to dress up like? What do you want me to dress up like? And then she asked me to be a pirate one day, so I dress up as a pirate, or whatever her request was. And you know, it's good for them. And I can see you would be a nice, good pirate too. So yeah, anyway, yeah, say hi to Mandy, and enjoy the days coming up towards Christmas and then Christmas as well, hopefully, right? And then we will definitely be on the phone or somehow talk again, right?
Thank you, and you as well. Enjoyed the Christmas time with your daughter and the reunion very soon with Yoko, and yeah, enjoy the holidays. And it's yeah, go out and eat before they close down everything.
Yeah, that's true. The first condition already came into effect today, I think, the first restriction. But there's one restaurant in Vancouver, they are fighting really hard. I think they even took a lawyer. They're fighting the restrictions with that. So we'll see if they can stay open over the Christmas. But yeah, anyway, I bought a Christmas tree again just to get some normal thing somewhere going. Although our daughter said, I don't need a Christmas tree anymore. I'm 15. I don't need a Christmas. But I said, no, mom is not home. And you're home because there's no school now. So no, I get a Christmas tree.
A live one?
Yeah. So she's happy now. We have a Christmas tree.
Wow, I never have a live one. I don't know what is it like. I
No, it's nice. You can smell it. You can smell it in the morning when you come into the living room. You smell it, and it smells like tree. It's good.
You know, I tried it one of these years. We have a fake one. I think I'm not too brave enough to handle the live tree at the living room. That's my fear. I don't know what is I'm fearing, but I'm fear of what happens. Like, you know, there's a live tree, right? And but I'm sure we eventually we might. You let me know, how do you enjoy it after you have it
We
before?
always had real trees. There was only a very short time for 2 years or somewhere.
Oh,
We had an artificial tree, but then I sold that artificial tree to somebody for, I don't know, half the price or so. I didn't want this anymore now. It started, I went somewhere in the bush, Forest Service, or driving somewhere with our truck we had back then. And there was a tree kind of on the road, but kind of bent over. I said, oh, this tree, Oh, so anyway, I cut that tree off and took it home. And from them on, I always bought a tree. I went to the tree farm, and it was kind of an event. So we go there to the tree farm. They have a little bit fire there, like a little campfire. They have hot chocolate, marshmallows, a little bit music, a little mini petting zoo, some goats or some sheep, whatever you can for the kids to pet. And then you can get your saw, and then you go to the tree, you select the tree you get, and then you cut the tree. So you pay for the tree. Hot chocolate and marshmallows were, I think, free, part of the tree purchase thing there. So that's what we did in the previous years always. And
so
this year I didn't go out there on time. They were selling out really quick this year because all those places at the market, which were also selling Christmas trees, they didn't have any Christmas trees this year because we had a flooding recently in around Vancouver. So therefore no transportation came in. So that means less Christmas trees in the city. So most people went out to those Christmas tree farms, and they were, within the first weekend, they were all sold out. And I just happened to be last week driving by our new opened up nursery. They relocate because of property real estate investment of some investor. They bought that property and relocated them. In a new relocated shop, they just got one shipment in from trees. And I just happened to be driving by and see that little handmade sign, Christmas trees. And I made a U-turn on the street, went in and said, you guys got Christmas trees? They're sold out in Vancouver for the last 2 weeks. No, we just got them in today. Oh, okay, I get one. So I took one. Didn't have an option to put it on top of the roof or anything. I had no straps, nothing. I put the seat bench down and just stuck it all the way into the car. So now the car is full with needles.
It sounds like fun. I think it's an experience that I got to experience at least once in my lifetime. I never have one yet.
Yeah, if you start once, then you will never maybe return until until I thought our daughter now she's 15, and then that's it. Maybe we don't need any more Christmas tree, but I got it because Yoko's not home, so we carried on. Otherwise, yeah, for you, if you start this year or next year, you may carry on for the next 10, 15 years or so. Who knows?
It's to let me confess, I always wonder what is it like, but I've just but I think you can wonder. You have to do it once, and then I
Yes,
think
that's correct. Yeah, you got to. Yeah, there's some circumstances like you got to get the tree, you got to get it inside. You need a tree stand. You have to water the tree, of course, otherwise it's drying out too quick and so on. And then
okay.
but again, in the morning you smell fresh tree. It's good. And then knowing it's a real tree, does it make a difference for you? Maybe not. For me, yes, because I grew up. We always had real Christmas trees at home when I was young. So it depends how you grow up, and So yeah, for me it's good. So and since they're anyway from the tree farm, not really taken out of the forest or whatever. So yeah, Howard. Sorry, I'm just looking at the time. It's 9:30. I gotta make sure that our daughter is ready for bedtime because
Oh,
she
sorry.
is she's usually not going by herself to bed. She's usually reading. She likes reading books. So she's probably still reading, sitting up and reading. So I
I,
gotta make sure that she is getting ready.
I appreciate once again for the setting up this call, Thor. I'm not who you're here, so you go say goodnight to your daughter, beautiful daughter, and I will we catch up on emails.
Yes, we will. Okay, Howard.
Okay,
Ciao. See you
thank
then.
you. Talk to you soon.